Hey, what's going on, YouTube? This is interesting. So, yeah, we'll see if this stream actually works. Sitting on top of Hurricane Ridge here in the Olympic National Forest Park. And so, what can I tell you guys? It's been a year. It has been over a year now that I've lived on, in, and out side of Enoch the van. And there's literally a deer right there. Can you guys see the deer? There's a deer right here eating. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Yep. There's a deer right there. Right there. Yeah, so it's been a year now. And it's been a trip, you know. Everybody has their own story, and everybody's story is a little bit different for sure. You know, some people get to do the nomadic thing and just travel around and work remotely, the digital nomad, which would probably be the most efficient way and probably enjoyable way of this lifestyle. Myself, though, it was more out of a necessity, as there's a lot of them where I'm kind of static, working at a fixed job that I have to be at, the 40 plus hours a week. And the reason I did this is just to have sustainability in order to actually live within my means and have a pseudo life outside of just struggling to pay rent and bills and all that stuff that go along with it, on top of everything else it takes to survive in today's world. And actually be able to afford a little bit of gas and on my days off and go do stuff. Nothing like crazy outrageous stuff. Oh, there's another deer right there. Wow, they like it right here. And otherwise I wouldn't be able to, you know, I would be scraping so hard right now to actually trying to sustain life if this wasn't my lifestyle. Is it now? Don't say that it's all easy, dude. It's definitely kind of a pain in the butt. A lot of times, you have to be a certain mindset in order to do this, for sure. Whoa. What was that all about, dude? You guys see that? Crazy. So it takes a certain type of mindset to do this. It also is, strong will, strong personality, some good common sense, street skills, all that kind of stuff comes into play. You know, wise in certain aspect. I mean, not really textbook wise, but just street wise, and just have a certain sense of things, you know. So, yeah, that being said, a lot has changed. You know, you learn how to be more efficient. This is such a tiny space. This one is 57 square feet. And so there's been some purging and some things to keep in here, kind of going through stuff that you need and don't need. You start to look at life a little bit different. You look at life in a way that, it's forced minimalism. And overall, it's a good thing, because you really shouldn't be so attached to inanimate objects, because at any time they can be taken away. The biggest thing, your home, your van, life itself could just be taken away in a blink of an eye. So, yeah, to live within those means, to understand it, and then that puts a different perspective on life itself. For sure. But then again, living this type of lifestyle, there's also, it's, it's kind of a lonely lifestyle, and I'll get back into that. But you're kind of a private person, but then you're putting yourself out there in the public. Like, privacy is huge in this lifestyle because you just don't get a lot of it. A lot of people like myself, on my days off, I try to get away from all the craziness to get some privacy, but yet that jeopardizes the your social strata a little bit, to actually get involved and get with people. Some other people can handle that all right. I just try to get away from it because I'm so involved in that every day. You're entrenched with it, so you want to get away with it, yet you strive for that because maybe you want to interact with people. It's kind of a quandary, but I digress on this matter. So, yeah, you start to become numb. I found this out. So I just got back from a family trip that I haven't seen some very close relatives in a year. And it was a great time, great location. And when I got back, I realized, like, how callous I've become, how numb to the fact of I've become in relationships with family, and how I kind of miss it and yearn for it. Like, it made me really sad, which was pretty interesting. I caught myself going, wow, man, you just kind of blocked yourself out. So things to be aware of that can lead to that callousness, which is interesting, very interesting. But yeah, and a lot of people get into this to save money, where if you have an excess, that's a good way to save it. But when, you're strapped paying child support and this and that, man, and the money just doesn't go that far. Yeah, just doesn't go that far. Like, if I don't see how I can make it, honestly, without this doing this lifestyle, which kind of sad in today's realm. But it's a sense of freedom. Like, literally, it's kind of cool to those occasions that I do embrace, that I really do like. I can go to a place like this and be totally self-sufficient in a comfortable way, where there's a place to sleep, I got a fridge, I can make food and coffee, wash up. Some things over the year that I went through this last winter without heat. And then this winter I got some heat, got a propane system set up. That's why I'm cooking this with propane. So that ought to make life a lot more enjoyable. It seems that the little heater I got probably will maybe increase 20 degrees in here or something like that if I close the cab part off. I've done some renovations. I put up some shelves and stuff like that to try to organize and use the space a little bit better. So these are some things that will come into play as time goes on, and I'm sure more and more will come in. A floor vent was huge this year. Yep. And on top of that, just taking care of maintenance items. And there's some maintenance items you need to have that you'll never touch. That's just for safety and for security, backup, all that kind of stuff, emergency type stuff. You definitely need to carry. But then there's other stuff that you don't either, Am I stoked on this and we'll keep doing this forever? I don't know. Honestly, I like the idea. I kind of embrace the alternate living totally. But then, I would like to have a place to park where, I've only got knocked on once or twice by the police, and that was just because of, just not knowing or being a little bit stupid or arrogant or whatever in my thinking. But mainly from, there's so many people living on the streets. The main people knocking on have been just like crazy people tonight. The thing is that Vanlifers, or people who live on the street, man, they got you pegged in your van. There's the whole stealth thing anymore is pretty much non-existent. The only people it may be non-existent to are people who are just totally not in the know, but I guarantee that if you parked out in front of somebody's house in a certain neighborhood and they seen a van out there, they're going to be suspicious, you know, and or the chances are they could be, and you can get called unless it's one of those super busy streets where you get random cars parked all the time and you kind of look like you work for somebody. I mean, there's 1,000 different scenarios that could go on, but my point being is that people in the streets, they know even van, like I can see somebody else I know, it's like a van life sense that you get where you can pick up if somebody is dwelling in their vehicle or not. There's just a certain look to it, a certain smell to it. But yeah, so yeah, I may go to an auction, you know, and look, because I try to find a little bit, just a place to park, not even if it's buildable, but just to have a little place that's yours, that's kind of a little bit more secure. Or if anything did happen, you'd be like, dude, I own this, would be kind of sweet. You know, and then to have a, not really a residence, but what was the term? A dwelling? Oh, it kind of eludes me at the moment. Domicile. That's what I was thinking of. Yeah, to have a domicile, you know, because they're going to ask you that. So if it's a small piece of property that you can actually access all year round, that necessarily you don't have to do anything with it, and the taxes aren't that gnarly, and maybe it doesn't even cost that much at the beginning, that would be, you know, at least something. Anyhow, that's my thinking. I'm not pressing that. That's just kind of, and had a couple of hiccups, but it's getting bumped off, able to come back, and now they've cut some other jobs, and so kind of in jeopardy since I'm only 1 year seniority in a job that people have been out here, you know, it's one of those jobs that people just stay at. And I've been with them. I just gave up my seniority when I moved up here. Same company. So I got time in, just different district. My butt is getting low. Still in my feeding window. Oh yeah, lost some weight. Keto's doing good this year. I kind of got off keto over that week. And now getting back on it, I didn't think it was going to be that big of a deal, but man, getting back fat adapted is pretty intense. I think it may have been a little bit harder coming back on keto versus getting on keto in the first place. Just kind of an observation I'm making. And with the diet and health-wise, it's totally sustainable and doable in van life. It's the keto diet for sure. And but recently I've been a little bit more on there. A little bit more to that, I've started implementing a 24-hour dry fast to get in autophagy a little bit better, which autophagy starts doing a 24-hour dry fast. They're saying equals 3 days of a liquid fast. You get into autophagy better, which does all type of health problems. I mean, cures health problems, and they're saying that it activates stem cell regeneration. So, I mean, it's almost like anti-aging a little bit. And for prayer, you get in the Bible, and fasting and prayer was the only way to get rid of some demons. The gnarly demons. The gnarly ones. Just saying. Just saying. So, yeah. Making some fat coffee here at the end of my feeding window. Enjoying my day off. Got to go back to the grind tomorrow, and just wanted to make an update. And I'll be going live. Not really much on here anymore, but on DLive, and I got a link up on top here on my banner somewhere. I'm hanging out there and more. YouTube is just getting so centralized and this and that. I'm not really too stoked on them, even though it does reaches the most people and it's out there, but you know, I like to be able to listen and say what I want to without being censored. Anyhow, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. We'll catch you on the next time.